Welcome back, everyone. Here we are in Fresh Start Cup. We're almost halfway through our group stage today. I'm Melissa, Acid Sunshine, and I'm joined by...
I'm Milana, and I just play Squid Game.
So I'm so excited. You know, we've been having so much fun so far, and we were talking a little bit during break how awesome this is that we were able to get Milana here on the screen, and it's so cool because I want to keep turning to her.
I'm crying.
Yeah, it's so good. It's amazing. Thank you, Aeon, so much for having us here, and thank you to the awesome Gen Game TV stream for setting this all up. So you guys are absolutely amazing, and we appreciate it so much. So we are all set to go right into our next set. It's Sleeping with the Squids versus Rose Knight. And I think we just need to reset the score there, but we're looking at Muscle Forge Fitness with Rainmaker, Splat Zones on Manta Maria, and Tower Control and Snapper Canal. Anything you see right here, Milana, that you're kind of concerned about or excited for?
I'm not a fan of any of those levels. But I think Muscle Forge can definitely be interesting because if you can get a full wipe from the first pop, it's a really, really quick path to the pedestal for the Rainmaker.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed Rainmaker on Muscle Forge recently. The last time that I was playing it in League with a friend of mine, I had told them this strategy that I watched at SNS, where if you go kind of across mid and up that left, you can paint the box and then the rail and jump right on, and you have a very quick way towards pedestal. And I'd seen it happen a couple of times, and I don't know if people just aren't paying enough attention when I'm doing it or what, but that was 4 knockouts.
Yeah, for sure.
It's, really exciting to kind of see this happen, and I can't wait to see what they do today.
I'm surprised to see none of them running Object Shredder, though.
I am, too.
I personally really enjoy Object Shredder, especially when you're doing Rainmaker, because it can pop that bubble much more quickly than if you didn't have it.
Yeah.
And that Rainmaker pop got one of them, but no one has taken the Rainmaker anywhere. So
it looks like right now Rose Knight is just kind of painting, trying to get a little bit of map control to be able to push forward without a lot of congestion from the side of Sleeping with the Squids. So far, that's where it looks to me like they're going for it.
Yeah, but we all know what Putz would say.
Yep. Offense.
Something offense, something tempo.
Yes. Having that Stingray come out is going to create a little bit of defense there, but really not enough because the Rainmaker holder does go down, and this leaves the Rainmaker on the side of Rose Knight. So the sniper is doing their due diligence to kind of move forward and take out as many of the opponents as possible. But, yeah.
For sure.
Nice job there from the Brella player. And it looks like they're going back through, trying to get a couple more. Unfortunately, they do go down to the Rainmaker. That makes it a 3-down situation on the side of Sleeping with the Squids as Rose Knight is finally pushing forward. Rainmaker holder did not really have any cover there, so they didn't have an opportunity to kind of move as much as they may have wanted to.
Yeah, so definitely if you are playing Rainmaker on your team, make sure that you know what the Rainmaker is. And don't leave them behind.
That's so true. To be able to kind of make sure that you're ready to push forward and have that person being covered is a major important thing.
Yeah, it seemed like 3 of them were, I think on Rose Knight, were pushing forward, whereas the Rainmaker holder was just really struggling back there with that last person. It's alive.
And it looks like finally, even though Sleeping with the Squids is able to pick up the Rainmaker, they're looking for a way out. They don't have as much map control, so it's a little bit harder for them to kind of get around the map. Trying to move into mid and having a couple of the members of Rose Knight right there is not very... it's not going to help them as much, but Pika is able to move a little bit forward, unfortunately does go down.
I think that would have been a situation where it would have been better to wait for your teammates instead of pushing forward. Although there are situations where you want to just get that extra point or two to get the lead and push forward.
Yeah, it looks like right now Rose Knight is going to let it reset. There are a few members in mid ready to kind of pop the shield there and pick it up, but doesn't look like they're going to get it. So Sleeping with the Squids does pop the Rainmaker shield, but they do go 2 down, and it's a 2v2 right now on both teams. Finally, Rose Knight does pick it up again, and it looks like they're making their way towards that right-hand path.
Which in my opinion, is a much better path, much safer path than the left side path.
I agree with you. I think people just, like I was saying, they're not really maybe that much aware of the left side one. Unfortunately, Rainmaker Holder does go down there.
But that was a great use of a curling bomb before the Rainmaker went down to give that Rainmaker a path to swim right to the pedestal.
People forget that too, that sometimes, you know, your teammates, subs, and other abilities can help you a lot more than just like the Rainmaker firing. So sometimes it's worth it to, like you were saying earlier, you know, wait for your team.
And sometimes it's worth it not to fire the Rainmaker, just to actually run and trust that your team will take care of you.
And it looks like this is the same situation that they were in before. The Rainmaker Holder just cannot kind of break into mid there. They get a little bit far, but not as much as they maybe want to. And it's a 3-down situation on the side of Sleeping with the Squids. So it looks like they're just waiting for the rest of their teammates to kind of respawn as Rose Knight kind of comes into mid here. Rainmaker is going to reset. It wasn't very far off middle, but Rose Knight doesn't need to pick it up and push forward right now. So I think that they're just going to kind of try to keep Sleeping with the Squids as far from it as possible.
Yeah, I think letting that Rainmaker reset there was probably a better choice than to pick it up and just die right away. So you notice that the Rainmaker's not really trying to move forward. Oh, just kidding. I take back my words. Oh, that was a really close. That was a really good push, but it was not enough.
Just a little too shy of taking that lead. So 52 to 69, though, not bad at all for either team. And it seems like the teams were pretty evenly matched. So I'm excited to see how the rest of these games go.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say something. I forgot it. I lost it. Oh, well. So what are your thoughts on Manta Maria?
I actually really like Manta Maria splat zones. I know that a lot of people have issues with this dual zone map, and it's a little bit complicated to kind of ink the other zone, you know, in general on either side. But I really enjoy it. I think that it's a nice map in general. There's a lot of different ways that I like to go about it. And like I said, I use, you know, a slosher deco most. So having that ball is really helpful because the zones are small enough that you can come in. If you pop ball, you're pretty much guaranteed to take zone.
I think of all of the ranked modes on Manta Maria, I think splat zones would probably be my favorite just because of the dual zones. I think it's just challenging.
Yeah? Not Rainmaker? I really like Rainmaker on Manta Maria.
It's okay. But I don't know. I'm just a big fan of most splat zone levels. I think it's because it's my favorite mode, but...
Yeah. You're not alone. Many people love splat zones. It's a lot of fun to play. You know, it's just like a really great way to kind of bring your team together. And I think that, like you were saying earlier, I believe it was during a break, that it's, you know, one of the modes that can be knocked out the fastest too. So it's definitely something that's awesome to watch and really fun to play as a team.
Yeah, and I believe that I was told that Japanese people really like to play splat zones. Like that is one of their favorite modes. And considering the level of skill of Japanese players, I can imagine those are crazy matches.
Oh my gosh, they're probably insane. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see this as we get right into this match of Sleeping with the Squids versus Rose Knight for our second set.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it as well. I think this may be the first time we've seen Umbrella. Am I mistaken?
They had Umbrella last match.
Oh, did they? Okay. I have a lot of trouble fighting Umbrellas. It's the worst thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I always respect a really good Umbrella player.
I do, too. I think that they're, you know, something to be contested with because they just have, you know, kind of best of both. There's a lot of people who have been picking up Brella more recently too, so we see it a lot more as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like the control goes back to Rose Knight for the spot zones. So as you can, sorry,
no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
As you can see, like the control goes back and forth so quickly in this because of the dual zones.
That's exactly what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you're absolutely right. It's going back and forth really fast, and I think that, you know, Rose Knight kind of has this advantage right now because they have a lot of turf, but that rain is going to harm them a little bit.
Definitely. I really like to use weapons that have rain, so like the Zini on this level, just because it's really easy to take those zones because they're very small.
Yeah. Ooh, I think that was a tough one there. The Heavy was trying to go for that slosher, but unfortunately did not get that pick and do go down. So this is, you know, they're not very far for Sleeping with the Squids to take this lead. They just need to hold it for a couple more seconds. There we go.
Yeah. And as you can see, the control's going back and forth like crazy, so it really still could be anybody's game at this point.
I think that, you know, you're right in, you know, because the zones are so small, you can paint them very quickly, and it does kind of tend to go back and forth a lot. But right now, Rose Knight is able to kind of take control of mid again, and it looks like they're starting to push up a little bit forward to try to lock Sleeping with the Squids into their spawn. But that Brella does throw some rain in there, and that's going to cause a little bit of confusion.
Doesn't it blow your mind that Brellas don't protect you from rain in this game?
Yeah. You'd think, right? Logic would win.
But nah, not in this game.
Having those bubbles come out, though, that's really going to help. Fortunately, it's not enough to paint that second zone. So Sleeping with the Squids will not get it. Now they do, and they put a nice penalty on the side of Rose Knight. The difference in lead is not so far away, but they do need to break through this penalty first before they can begin breaking down that score.
And it looks like Sleeping with the Squids does have a lot of turf control in the middle of the map, so it may be easier for them to hold control of that zone on the side of Rose Knight.
I completely agree with you. I think them kind of moving forward is exactly why they were able to take the lead there. And they're still 2 down on the side of Rose Knight, and they Sleeping with the Squids continue to get some pretty nice picks that's going to be crucial in letting them keep the lead here.
For sure. But it looks like Rose Knight might be pushing a little bit to try. Oh, just kidding. That baller coming from behind.
Yeah, I think, you know, definitely having that ball, like I was saying earlier, come in just does a lot of damage and, you know, can cause a lot of issues there.
I think what's important to remember about dual spot zone maps is that you have to have control of both zones in order to make your countdown go down.
This is really the kind of crucial moment there. They put a beautiful penalty. Rose Knight put a beautiful penalty on the side of Sleeping with the Squids because Sleeping with the Squids only had 3 points left to go. So this is really where it counts. Rose Knight is very quickly breaking down their penalty and has the opportunity to kind of take the lead again.
Definitely. It seems like a lot of them are playing very safe though and staying near the zone, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it might be better just to push forward a little bit to put some pressure on the other team.
I agree. You're absolutely right. And it looks like right here they are trying, Rose Knight is trying to keep them in a situation of locking Sleeping with the Squids out of the zones. But those bubbles come in and take that left one, and there's people on the other zone that could take it. Wow.
And I think that might be game for Sleeping with the Squids.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to have those bubbles come out and cause a little bit of a distraction on that other zone lets you know, Sleeping with the Squids really take control and do a great job taking that game.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can definitely see that you know, it went back and forth a lot, we were talking about, but when you're looking at that KA, Rose Knight did have a lot more splats on their side. So, you know, you could see that they were really trying to contend a lot, and it just came down to, you know, the dual zones and kind of, I think, really you're having your specials and being able to build them fast enough to take zone.
And that is also something to remember. Having more kills doesn't mean you win the game.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Because that's something we see a lot in solo queue as well. You know, people coming in and thinking, oh, like, I'm going to have the most amount of kills right here. I'm going to continue to kill these teammates. But if their teammates aren't pushing objective, even though they're slaying and they get 20, 23 kills, it might not be, you know, enough to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps to be able to slay, but, you know, it doesn't guarantee you a win.
Mm-hmm.
So this next map, Snapper Canal, I have fallen into the water more times than I can count.
Me too. Yeah.
So I think Armor and Baller are definitely dangerous specials to have in this level, especially for tower.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. Baller, those balls need to be very careful on that tower, especially when going over the water and waiting on that checkpoint. You know, it's an opportunity if somebody kind of just knocks into you, that can go very easily wrong into the water.
Yes.
And that hamster ball won't protect you.
Not from the water, no.
So here we go, getting into this. Tower control on Snapper Canal. I really like this map in general. It's probably one of my favorites in the whole game. So I think this is absolute chaos, but it's awesome to see.
And definitely it caters a lot to chargers and heavy slatlings, just because there's that perch where you can sit on and pretty much hit the tower at the middle of the map.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think right now it kind of looks like both teams go one down very quickly, 2 down on the side of Sleeping with the Squids. So Rose Knight is going to begin by taking the tower first. As some of the members kind of come up to the sides, trying to begin to lock Sleeping with the Squids into their own spawn.
And it's important that when you get to the first checkpoint to really keep an eye on the left side, because that's chances are where most of the enemy is going to come at you from.
Yeah, this blaster was definitely working to try to get this charger that we're looking at their side now. But, you know, the charger does have a great setup, like you were saying, on that perch. And they do pop Stingray to try to get some of the members off the tower. And it looks like they're able to get at least 1 assist with that.
Mm-hmm. And I think what's great about being able to use Stingray with a team is that when you pop the Stingray, your teammates can be like, go left, go left, go right. Help you find the people.
So true. It's so true. Unless you're running
thermal ink or something.
Thermal ink, yes, thank you. I was about to call it ink armor, but I'm like, no, thermal ink, and then you can kind of see where some of these enemies are.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
That's a 3-down situation on the side of Sleeping with the Squids. So this is the opportunity that Rose Knight is waiting for to kind of continue their push. They did break through those first 2 checkpoints, so that's going to let them get very quickly to the 3rd one, as long as they can maintain control on tower.
And that blaster is definitely putting pressure near that near the spawn of the other team. I personally like to stand around where he was before to like watch the ink rail, because a lot of the teams, they get nervous when people are on the tower, so then they take the ink rail and then you can like easily pick them off.
Yeah, this blaster has been doing a lot of work there, getting a nice double to kind of continue to make sure that Sleeping with the Squids doesn't do what you said and like move forward on that ink rail.
Yeah, definitely.
Oof, they get a trade with 1, but unfortunately go down in that situation.
I think that would have been the best outcome for that situation, because it was a 2v1, and getting that trade at least was something.
Very smart that the Brella was on tower, able to try to protect a teammate from a couple of those hits from the sloshing machine, but not enough. Unfortunately, tower does reset back to mid, and I believe is going to continue moving in Rose Knight's favor.
Yeah, for sure. you do have to be careful when you are playing with Brella players, because sometimes a bomb can just touch the Brella and pop on you. So,
True.
definitely happened to me a few times.
Me too. One of my friends who I play with a lot plays Brella often, and that's something that I have to be very careful about.
Yes, just take a step, take 10 steps back.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Sleeping with the Squids is in a pretty good position now to kind of begin their first real push so far. They're at that first checkpoint, and they're slowly working their way to break it down. Stingray does come out on the side of Rose Knight, but it's not going to be enough to completely scare them away, with another Stingray coming out on the side of Sleeping with the Squids.
I think although Stingray is really, really good at getting people off the tower, it's not impossible to at least keep the tower where it is while it's being Stingrayed. You just have to kind of hop on and off the tower. So I think that's definitely something to keep in mind when someone is deciding to Stingray the tower, that you need to keep the tower where it is at the very least.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've definitely seen a couple of tower control matches lost in that last second because someone pops Stingray and the team gets scared and they back off because they don't want to die. But if you're that close to taking lead, I mean...
Yeah, you might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is seeming... Ooh.
Jumping right into that Stingray there.
It's like a Stingray match right here. Back and forth.
Definitely tower control is the one mode that I expect to see the most amount of Stingrays all the time. So it's something to be said here that, you know, we did see that a lot. And coming down, it looks like, you know, this is where everything is kind of coming together for the side of Rose Knight. You know, they really do have a lot of map control right now, and they're doing what they can to make sure that Sleeping with the Squids doesn't get this overtime very far.
Yeah, and that is game. That was a really, really well-placed Stingray on the side of Rose Knight.
Definitely. And that was a great end of the set for Rose Knight, taking that set on 2v1 versus Sleeping with the Squids. So great job for them. And that was, you know, brings us to kind of halfway of this group set.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I feel like both teams were pretty evenly matched. We had really good games throughout the set.
I totally agree with you. That Splat Zones one went back and forth so often. You know, Rainmaker, they almost got it there. So I think that it's awesome to see. You know, I can't wait to see Sleeping with the Squids in other tournaments too. All of these teams so far, you know, it's like you were saying earlier, like I want to see some of these in the next BNS. You know, come out to Long Island Summer Splat. This would be amazing. It would be a great opportunity to play with friends. You know, we're both going to be here in person.
I'm going to be there forever. I'm living in Long Island. I'm living at Aeon Game.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. It's absolutely wonderful. And I mean, you know, you live local enough. I'm sure you've been to all the fun summer things that you can do on Long Island, right? Like the beaches.
Like round one.
Round one. Yeah, you want to face Milana in an awesome Dance Revolution. I'm sure.
If you want to be like Vegas, you know.
I'm sure he would say be careful, but, you know, it's definitely an opportunity to come out, have a great time. Everybody's going to have so much fun. So it's totally worth checking out.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really great time. And Beacon was my first LAN, so it's just life-changing. And I came back from it playing so much better. It's very strange.
Yeah, I agree. Every LAN that I've come back from, I've felt the drive to play was a little stronger, and it's so exciting for me. You know, I love coming to these because I love to meet all the fun people. You know, we play with these people all the time, and then you get to meet them in person, and hugs are always awesome and free, and it's just like a really great time. So be sure to check it out, Long Island Summer Splat. We're going to go to a quick break and come back with our fourth group of Sugar-Coated Bonbons versus Hexagon. So we'll see you soon.
Sun and the moon spin